Commander Maya Chen stood alone on the observation deck of the USS Resolute, her gaze fixed on the twisted wreck of the Zelar scout ship, drifting in the silent void. Green sparks of leaking coolant flashed across its hull like dying fireflies, and tiny shards of metal spun slowly in the zero-gravity field around it. Maya's hand hovered over the datapad at her belt, ready to beam a full damage report to Admiral Singh. Behind her, the bridge hummed with low voices. Lieutenant Ortiz monitored the ship's sensors. Ensign Park tapped at a console, tracking life sign readings from the wreck. Outside, distant stars seemed to shine a little dimmer than usual, as if the universe itself held its breath. Maya drew in a steadying breath. "Status?" she asked, turning back to the view screen. Ortiz's voice came over the intercom. "No survivors detected, Commander. All sensors agree. There are no signs of life." Maya's heart clenched. She had hoped against hope to find anyone, alive. Instead, the scout ship was empty. The Zelar pilots had died in the crash. She tapped her datapad. "Send this to Admiral Singh. Then stand down emergency teams. I want a full analysis on how this happened." As she spoke, a sudden shift in the air made her pause. The force field shutters across the deck's single entrance slid open with a soft hiss, though no one had called for them. Maya's fingers froze on her datapad. Through the opening stepped a figure taller than any human and dressed in living armor that pulsed with soft bioluminescence. The Zelar Queen moved slowly, deliberately, her every step echoing confidence. Her skin was a smooth, pale lavender, and long tendrils of light thread hair coiled around her head like a crown. Maya felt her pulse speed. "Queen Kiriana," she said, voice steady, though her mind raced. The Zelar had never shown themselves on a human ship before. The Queen's eyes, large and opalescent, glowed faintly in the dim light of the deck. She did not speak at first. She raised one hand, and a wave of quiet energy swept over the small bridge crew. Systems flickered and weapons locked down, unable to fire. Maya's jaw tightened. She strode forward. "Step back," she warned. "You are on a Starfleet vessel. Lay down your arms." The Queen's lips curved in a distant smile. She pressed Maya back with a gentle push, pinning her against the cold metal wall. Maya's boots skidded briefly against the deck plating before she found her balance. "Commander," the Queen's voice whispered, yet it carried across the entire deck as if amplified by the ship itself. "You want peace, human? Then marry me." The words rang in the air, shocking in their calm clarity. Ensign Park let out a strangled gasp. Lieutenant Ortiz's eyes widened as he stared, disbelief etched on his face. Maya stared back at the Queen, her mind spinning. Maya's ribs pressed uncomfortably against the wall. She forced herself to speak. "Marry you? You destroyed one of your own ships. You steal into my ship like a thief in the night. You hold me hostage. This is madness." The Queen's tendrils glowed brighter. She leaned closer, her voice soft but unbreakable. "Wars have been fought over less. Your world and mine bleed each other with weapons that burn cities and scar stars. We have both lost billions. You cling to pride, but is pride worth 1,000 lives?" Maya's heart thundered in her chest. She fought both the Queen's strength and the weight of her words. She looked at the view of the shattered scout ship, at the twisted metal, and the dark stain where its reactor had vented. Silent alarms had started to sound on the bridge, but no one moved to disable them. The Queen's energy field seemed to hold them all in place. Maya thought of her home planet, of fields green and pure rivers flowing. She thought of the families waiting for her return. She thought of all the human ships rushing to battle the Zelar flotillas at every rim and every edge of the galaxy. She thought of the price of war. Her voice came quiet and controlled. "If we marry, what guarantees do we have that this is not another trick? That you will not use me to betray my people? Or that your people will accept a human queen? The Queen's grip eased, but she did not release Maya from the wall. "I offer myself," she said. "I will sit on your council as you would sit on mine. Share every treaty. Give you access to my people's knowledge and resources. My word will bind the Zelar armies." Maya's mind whirled. She saw visions of star systems torn by lasers, of refugees fleeing wrecked colonies, of children who would never know peace. She also saw the possibility of a future where human and Zelar children played together in the sunlight of a safe world. She stumbled forward, rubbing her shoulder where the queen had held her. She faced the alien ruler squarely. "You speak of peace," Maya said. "But marriage is a union of trust. How can we trust each other when we have been enemies for generations?" The queen's face was solemn. "Trust must begin somewhere. I choose you, Commander Maya Chen, because you showed mercy to my scouts. You sent healing pods instead of torpedoes. You saved 30 lives. Maya's breath caught. She remembered fully. The scout ship had drifted into human space by mistake. She had ordered medics aboard instead of attack ships. Aid pods had carried the wounded back to the Resolute's sickbay. Those patients still lay in stasis, healing from their injuries. "You remember," Maya whispered. The queen nodded. "I remember kindness. That memory binds me as strongly as any law." A shiver ran through the assembled crew. Lieutenant Ortiz quietly lowered his phaser. Ensign Park covered her mouth, eyes wide. The deck's alarms wavered, then fell silent as the queen's aura stabilized the ship's systems. Maya closed her eyes for a single heartbeat, tasting the weight of the moment. Then she opened them, meeting the queen's steady gaze. "Very well," she said softly. "I will consider your offer, but know this. If you betray us, if you harm one human child—" The queen placed a hand over her own heart. "Then I shall face the judgment of 2 worlds. But I choose peace." Maya nodded. She held out her hand, shaking slightly. The queen accepted it, her grip gentle yet unyielding. In that touch lay the fragile promise of an end to a war that had lasted far too long. Far above them, the shattered scout ship drifted on, its secrets unread. On the Resolute's deck, 2 figures, one human, one alien, stood united by a single daring hope. That love and marriage could heal a galaxy. And somewhere deep inside Commander Maya Chen, a new resolve took root. She would fight for this peace, whatever the cost. Because she believed that even the greatest wounds could one day be healed. Commander Maya Chen sat before the holocom console in the Resolute's conference room, her uniform crisp beneath the soft glow of the projector lights. The walls around her displayed the blue and white seal of the United Earth Council. Across, from her, floating in midair, was the semi-transparent figure of Counselor Darius Malik, his expression grave. "Commander," Malik began, voice echoing gently, "we have received your report. You say the Zelar Queen demands marriage in exchange for peace?" Maya's fingers tapped lightly on the polished table. "Yes, Counselor. Queen Kiryana offered herself as my spouse. She claims her word will bind her people's armies." Counselor Malik leaned forward, folding his hands beneath his chin. "This is unprecedented. Our people have fought the Zelar for over 50 years. How can we accept a proposal, marriage of all things, as the basis for interstellar peace?" Behind Maya, Admiral Singh stood, arms crossed. His uniform bore the stripes of a 4-star admiral. Maya cleared her throat. "Admiral, thank you. Counselor, I understand this sounds absurd. But her power is real. She disabled our ship's systems with a thought. She could have destroyed us outright." Malik's hologram flickered. "And why did she not?" Maya's eyes drifted to the viewport behind her where stars shimmered against endless black. "Because she respects my mercy. When her scout ship drifted into our border, I chose to save the pilots rather than fire torpedoes. That act, unexpected, kindness, touched her." Silence settled. Then Counselor Malik asked, "And what do you want us to decide?" Maya inhaled. "That's why I'm here. We need a path forward. War will only kill more millions. If we can secure a real alliance, with the Zelar we can end hostilities, rebuild our colonies, and share technology. But the terms, I can only speak for what she offered me." Admiral Singh spoke up, voice low and steady. "We have 2 options. Reject her proposal, resume hostilities, risk total war, or accept, appoint Commander Chen as Earth's representative spouse, and start negotiations for a formal treaty." A young council aide floated in with a data pad. He hovered the device before Malik, who studied it. Reports from frontier colonies show food shortages, refugee floods, entire worlds on the brink of collapse. The Senate is ready for anything that might stop the bloodshed. Maya felt a knot in her stomach ease slightly. The stakes were higher than she had imagined. Malik's hologram tilted. Very well. We will deliberate. Commander Chen, you are hereby granted provisional leave to continue talks. But you must return to the Resolute immediately. We will convene the Senate within 24 hours. Maya bowed her head. Thank you, Counselor. She ended the call. The holoprojector shimmered out, leaving only her and the Admiral in the cold, silent room. Singh nodded. Good work, Commander, but this is only the beginning. Maya let out a shaky breath. She turned to him, brow furrowed. Admiral, I need to understand more about the Zeelar culture. If I'm going to negotiate this marriage, it can't just be a show ceremony. We need to know what it means to them. Singh's eyes softened. Then you'll speak with their envoy. Commander, you're cleared to host Ambassador Veldris aboard the Resolute. He will guide you through the formal protocols. An hour later, Maya entered the Resolute's diplomatic chamber. The room was circular, with smooth white walls and soft purple lighting. A single chair sat opposite a low table. Already in, it sat Ambassador Veldris. He was tall and slender, his greenish-gray scales shimmering faintly. Two curved horns arched over his head, framing eyes that glowed like emerald lanterns. He wore a simple robe of deep blue trimmed in silver. Commander Chen, he greeted in a quiet, musical soprano. Thank you for meeting me. Maya nodded, taking the offered seat. Ambassador, thank you for coming. She inclined her head. I want to understand your people's customs. What does marriage mean to the Zeelar? Veldris folded his clawed hands on the table. Marriage is the highest bond. It unites two souls and by extension their homes, clans, territories, even worlds. Once joined, both parties share rights, duties, and protections. To break a marriage is a grave moral crime. Maya absorbed his words. So if I agree, I'm not just a figurehead. We become true partners. Veldris's lips curved. Yes, and not merely in name. The Queen will share her throne equally with you. You will advise on all matters, from defense to resource, allocation. Her covenants will be yours. Maya swallowed. The weight of this responsibility pressed on her chest. And if I refuse? The ambassador's expression grew sad. Then she will withdraw her offer. The truce will end, and we will resume hostilities. Our warriors will no longer hold their weapons. She leaned back, closing her eyes for a moment. Soundless alarms in the corridors reminded her the enemy fleet still patrolled the frontier. A single misstep could spark a war more devastating than any before. Understood, she said softly. I will need time to consider. Veldris inclined his head. Take what you need, Commander. The Queen trusts in your judgment. He rose and drifted away, leaving Maya alone with her thoughts. Later that night, Maya found herself on the observation deck once more. The view of the wreckage of the Scout. Ship was gone. Salvage teams had stripped the hull, but the stars remained, blinking as if indifferent to the fate of those who lived beneath them. Lieutenant Ortiz joined her, carrying 2 steaming mugs of tea. He handed one to her without a word. Maya accepted it with a grateful nod. Thank you. Ortiz leaned on the railing. You handled it well today, Commander. She wrapped both hands around the mug. I still can't believe it. Marriage is peace treaty. He shrugged. Would you rather the alternative? More war? More deaths? She stared into the dark liquid, her reflection fragmented. No. I know what I must do. But is it enough? Ortiz's gaze was steady. If anyone can make it work, it's you. Maya let that sink in. She thought of her parents back on Earth, their gentle smiles. She thought of Earth's cities rebuilding from endless conflict. She thought of the Zeelar children she had never met who might one day grow up in safety. She lifted her eyes to the stars. Somewhere out there, Queen Kiriana rested, waiting. In a world built on hostility, they had planted a seed of hope. Fragile, yes, but alive. Maya took a final sip of tea and set the mug down. "Tomorrow," she said, voice firm, "I will give my answer." Ortiz gave a small salute. "I'll be here." Maya straightened her shoulders. For the first time in days, she felt a spark of calm determination. The path ahead would be hard, filled with politics, with doubt, with those who would see her failure as a triumph. But she would not let them define her destiny. She would shape it herself. Because peace, she decided, was worth any sacrifice. And if love, however strange, could save billions of lives, she would embrace it. Tomorrow she would choose, for 2 worlds, and that choice would echo across the stars. Commander Maya Chen arrived on the moonlit terraces of Viridian Palace just before dawn, her boots clicking softly on the smooth stone walkways. The air was cool and carried the scent of blooming night flowers that glowed faintly under the planets, twin moons. She paused at the palace gate, her heart fluttering. Today she would meet Queen Kiriana again, this time not as prisoner or envoy, but as betrothed. Possibly. A pair of Zilar court guards bowed as she passed. Their tall, slender forms wore elegant armor that shone like mother of pearl. Maya's escort, Ambassador Veldris, glided beside her, his long robes whispering against the ground. "Good morning, Commander," Veldris said quietly. "The Queen awaits you in the Hall of Resonance." Maya nodded, smoothing her uniform. "Thank you, Ambassador." She followed him through a series of vaulted corridors carved with luminescent vines. Every surface seemed alive with soft light. Even the walls pulsed in gentle waves, as if the palace itself breathed. At last, they entered a vast chamber. High arched windows lining one wall overlooked a sparkling lagoon. The ceiling shimmered with living constellations. In the center of the hall stood Queen Kiriana, her tendrils arranged like a crown, her armor's biolights weaving patterns across her skin. She watched Maya approach with calm grace. "Commander Chen," Kiriana greeted, her voice like a quiet melody. "You honor us with your presence." Maya bowed. "Your Majesty," she replied, struggling to keep her nerves steady. "Thank you for inviting me into your home." The Queen gestured to 2 seats carved from pale crystal. They sat across from each other at a low table. Between them lay a shallow bowl of water that glowed soft green. "The first part of joining our worlds is understanding one another," Kiriana explained. She lifted a crystalline spoon and dipped it into the bowl, taking a small sip. "This is the Viridian elixir. It teaches empathy. It aligns your mind with another's pain and joy." Maya hesitated, then dipped the spoon. The liquid was cool, sweet, and tasted faintly of moonflowers. She felt a sudden warmth at her temples, as if her thoughts were touching another mind. She saw flashes of Zilar children laughing among glowing trees, of elders speaking in low, harmonious chants. She understood in that moment why the Zilar fought so fiercely for peace and balance. She blinked, and the visions faded. Maya set the spoon down, her hand trembling slightly. The Queen watched her kindly. "Tell me what you saw," Kiriana said. Maya took a steady breath. "I saw joy in small things, a people bound to nature, to beauty, and also the fear of losing it all." Kiriana nodded. "We have known both. That fear led to war, but it also led us to value peace above all." Maya felt a new respect for this alien monarch. "I understand better now." She paused. "Your offer? It means more than a treaty. It is a true bond." The Queen rose and moved closer. Her height towered over Maya, yet there was no threat in her posture, only earnest hope. "Maya Chen," she said, using Maya's first name for the first time. "I wish to show you more of my world. After this, you will dine in the Gallery of Aegis, where our histories live as living art." There you will meet my people and see their trust in you." Maya stood as well. "I would be honored." Later they walked through the gallery of Aegis, an enormous domed hall where walls, floors, and ceilings glowed with shifting images. Living projections told the story of Zillar history, the birth of their first queen, the forging of peace among rival clans, the great wars with other species. Maya reached out to touch a scene, a grand tree whose roots spread across a mountain. As her fingers brushed the light, the tree's leaves shimmered, and she heard a chorus of voices praising unity. She stepped back, awed. "This is how we remember," Kiriana said softly. "Not in books, but in shared experience." Maya nodded. "On Earth we have paintings and stories, but nothing like this." They moved on to a mural of first contact, when the Zillar scouts met humans in space. The image showed Maya's own rescue pods descending toward the scout ship's battered hull. Maya felt a pang of memory, the fear in those alien eyes, the relief at her mercy. "I remember that day," Maya whispered. The Queen placed her hand on Maya's shoulder. "And I remember your kindness." That evening, beneath a sky lit by 2 moons, Maya joined the Queen in the palace gardens. Flowers glowed around them, and crystal fountains sang soft tunes as water leaped in arcs of light. Servants offered platters of strange fruits and delicate pastries that tasted of starlight. They walked side by side along a path paved with moonstone. Maya noticed how the Queen's biolights matched the soft hues of the garden. It was as if Kiriana was part of this living planet. They came upon a small bridge arched over a silver pond. Fish swam beneath the surface, their scales shining like jewels. The Queen paused at the bridge's center. "Maya," she said, turning to face her, "would you walk beside me as more than friend? Not merely as ally in war, but as partner in life?" Maya's breath caught. She studied the Queen's face. An alien face, yes, but filled with genuine warmth and hope. "Your Majesty," she replied. I would like that very much." Kiriana's lips curved in a gentle smile. She reached out and took Maya's hand. At her touch, the garden lights brightened, and the fountain's song rose in a harmonious chord. For a moment, the 2 women stood together, hand in hand, surrounded by the soft glow of Viridian's night. Then the Queen spoke again. "Tomorrow we will meet the Council of Clans. They must accept our union. Will you stand with me before them?" Maya lifted her chin, determination shining in her eyes. "Yes, I will." That night, Maya lay in her guest chamber, staring at the ceiling's shifting stars. She thought of everything she had seen: the beauty of Viridian, the depth of Zillar culture, the bond she shared now with a being from another world. Part of her still trembled with fear of betrayal, of failure, of losing her human friends and family. But another part of her filled with hope, because she believed this union could save billions. She closed her eyes and whispered to herself, "Tomorrow, I choose peace." And beneath twin moons, on a world of light and living art, a human and an alien queen prepared to face the highest council in the galaxy, together. Commander Maya Chen stood at the threshold of the Grand Conclave Hall, her heart steady even as her pulse raced. Around her, the great chamber hummed with the voices of hundreds of Zillar clan leaders. Each wore the colors and symbols of their lineage: deep blues of the Tide clan, blazing crimsons of the Forge clan, and emerald greens of the Sylvan clan. Above them, a vaulted ceiling shimmered with living starlight, casting dancing reflections on the polished floor. Queen Kiriana walked beside Maya, her tall form regal and calm. She raised a slender hand and the murmurs hushed to respectful silence. "Honored leaders of Zillar," Kiriana began, her voice clear and resonant. "I stand before you in union, with a human from the world of Earth. We seek your blessing, that our marriage may bring peace between our peoples." A ripple of astonishment passed through the crowd. Some clan heads exchanged doubtful glances. Others watched Maya with curiosity, their glowing eyes unreadable. Maya took a breath and stepped forward. "Great leaders," she said, her voice Ferncinon, I come to you not as a conqueror, but as a friend. I ask for your trust in this union. Trust that it will protect your homes and end a war that has cost us all too much. A tall figure rose from the Tide clan. His sea-blue scales gleamed under the starlight. You speak well, human, he said, but words alone cannot bind clans. We need proof of strength and loyalty. Before Maya could answer, alarms blared throughout the hall. A harsh clang filled the air as distant gates slammed shut. The starlight on the ceiling flickered and dimmed. In an instant, masked figures poured into the chamber, members of the Rebellion of Ash, a militant faction that rejected any alliance with humans. Chaos erupted. Leaders shouted. Guards drew slender energy blades. Maya and Kiriana both sprang into action. A rebellion insurgent lunged at Kiriana with a serrated spear. The queen's biolights flared. An energy shield shimmered into place and deflected the blow. Maya pivoted, firing her stun weapon. A beam of blue light struck another attacker, sending him sprawling. They moved as one. Maya ducked under an assailant's sweeping blade and kicked him aside. Kiriana raised both hands, sending a pulse of psionic force that knocked two rebels off their feet. The chamber's holographic constellations blinked and warped as the battle spread. Maya spotted a rebel archer on a balcony above, drawing back a luminescent arrow aimed at the queen. Without thinking, Maya sprinted forward, vaulting onto a low railing. She dove, sliding across the floor, and knocked the bow from the archer's grasp. He tumbled backward, crashing to the ground in a heap. Kiriana fought at Maya's side, her tendrils weaving like living whips. She disarmed two more attackers and guided fleeing clan leaders to safety. Maya joined her, forming a back-to-back circle of defense. In the melee, Maya caught a glimpse of the Tide clan leader fighting fiercely to protect his people. She realized that these were not mindless fanatics. They were warriors, afraid of change. At the chamber's entrance, Veldris and a unit of Zelar guards finally broke through the insurgents' blockade. Together they surged forward and overwhelmed the rebels. The last masked figure fell and silence settled over the hall once more. Kiriana's shield faded. She turned to Maya, concern in her opalescent eyes. Are you hurt? Maya shook her head, brushing dust from her sleeve. Just adrenaline. She saw the Tide clan leader approaching, his expression thoughtful rather than angry. He bowed his head to the queen, then looked to Maya. Human, he said quietly. You fought not for glory, but to save our leaders. You bled for us. Maya straightened. I stand for peace. The Tide leader nodded. I will speak for you. He turned to the assembly. See how she risked her life for our safety. If this union is true, then she honors us. Other leaders murmured in agreement. The Forge clan matriarch rose next. I saw her protect the queen. That is loyalty. She lifted her staff and tapped it on the floor. A clear tone rang out and more voices echoed in assent. One by one, the clans declared their support. Maya felt the weight on her shoulders ease. In that moment, the Grand Conclave Hall became more than a battlefield. It became a crucible forging trust. That evening, Maya and Kiriana joined the humbled insurgents in meditation chambers. The rebels knelt before them, stripped of weapons, but not of dignity. Kiriana spoke gently to them, offering amnesty in exchange for fealty. Maya added her vow. I swear to protect every Zelar life as I would protect my own. We share this world now. Some rebels wept. Others pressed their foreheads to the floor in submission. Slowly, the rebellion dissolved into acceptance. When all was done, Maya and the queen stood at the chamber's entrance. Soft light bathed them in a peaceful glow. We have passed the test, Kiriana said, her voice warm. Your courage and compassion saved many lives today. Maya nodded. And yours saved mine. They walked together through the palace. Gardens, the moonlight weaving silver patterns on the pathway. Flowers swayed gently in an evening breeze, as if in applause. Maya paused by a fountain. Tomorrow we will be married, she said softly. What happens after that? Kiriana smiled, stepping to stand beside her. After that, we lead. We rebuild. Together, we will form a council of human and Zelar leaders. We will share knowledge, medicine, energy, agriculture, and end poverty. On Earth and Viridian, we will open our borders, blend our art and music, and teach our children that peace is the greatest treasure. Maya closed her eyes, picturing her homeworld's bright cities and crowded markets. She imagined Zelar scholars teaching human students the secrets of Viridian's living technology. She saw joint starships exploring new systems, humans and Zelar side by side. She opened her eyes and looked at Kiriana. "I will stand with you," she said, voice steady. "In marriage and in rule." The queen reached out, tucking a luminescent tendril behind Maya's ear. "Then let us prepare." On the morning of the ceremony, the palace terraces were transformed into a grand amphitheater. Banners of both Earth and Zelar flew side by side. Delegations from human starships stood alongside Zelar clans. A gentle breeze carried the scents of Earth roses and Viridian night flowers. Maya donned a simple gown woven from Earth silk and Zelar bio-weave. Its colors, white and violet, symbolized unity. She felt a gentle tremor of nerves as she walked toward the altar, set beneath an arch of living crystal. At the altar stood Queen Kiriana in her ceremonial robes, her armor's bio-light softened to a gentle glow. The two of them faced the assembled crowd. A high priest of the Sylvan clan spoke in mixed human and Zelar tongue. "Let these two souls unite as one. Let their bond be strong as the roots of the world tree. Let their love shine across the stars." Maya and Kiriana took each other's hands. Maya felt a warmth bloom in her chest as the crystal arch pulsed in response. The crowd held its breath. Then Maya spoke her vow. "I promise to stand by you, to protect all Zelar lives, and to build peace between our peoples." Kiriana's voice shimmered like light on water. "I promise to share my throne, my heart, and my world with you, and to bind my people's fate to yours." A wave of energy washed over the amphitheater, and the crystal arch glowed with rainbow hues. Delegates wept, guards lowered their arms, and the sky above bloomed with twin rainbows stretching across both oceans and forests. As the ceremony concluded, Maya and the queen shared a gentle embrace. Around them, two cultures celebrated as one. Music rose in joyous harmony, earthly strings blending with Zelar crystal chimes. In that moment, the galaxy paused. A human and an alien queen had married, and with them they had married hope and promise. And though their journey was far from over, they had taken the greatest step of all, proving that love can conquer war, and that peace is born when two worlds choose to walk side by side. Commander Maya Chen woke before dawn, sunlight just touching the peaks of Viridian's crystal mountains. She dressed in a simple tunic made from earth fabric and Zelar silk. Across the bed, Queen Kiriana slept peacefully, her bioluminescent tendrils glowing softly. Maya reached out and gently brushed one away. As she left their chamber, the palace corridors glowed with morning light. Servants whispered greetings in both human and Zelar tongues. Maya smiled and bowed to each one. She carried the weight of two worlds on her shoulders, but today that weight felt lighter. Downstairs, the Council of Unity was assembling in the newly built chamber. Half of the seats were carved from earthwood, the other half from Viridian crystal. Around a long oval table sat human ambassadors in starched uniforms and Zelar clan leaders in flowing robes. At the head of the table stood Maya and Kiriana, hand in hand. "Welcome," Maya said, her voice firm yet warm. "Today we begin our work." The Council's first order was to set up joint relief for planets still rebuilding after decades of war. Maya watched as human engineers and Zelar builders planned new water systems for drought-stricken colonies. She felt hope bloom in her chest. After the meeting, Maya and Kiriana toured the palace gardens, now filled with both earth roses and Viridian night flowers. Birds from Earth fluttered among glowing vines. Zelar children wove between rose bushes, their laughter bright as bells. Maya bent to greet a little girl with emerald eyes. "Hello," Maya said softly. "What is your name?" The girl paused, then smiled shyly. I am Lyra Bell, your daughter's name. Maya's throat tightened. She felt a rush of emotion at the thought of a shared future. That would be an honor, she whispered. Later, in the palace laboratories, Maya joined scientists from both worlds. They studied Earth medicine and Xelar biophotonics. Together, they worked on a vaccine to stop a plague that still haunted frontier worlds. As Maya watched a human doctor inject a test subject with a glowing serum, she felt pride. This will save millions, she said to the lead Xelar researcher. He bowed. We could not have done this alone. That afternoon, alerts blared across the council chamber. A small human freighter had been hijacked near the Orion Expanse by pirates taking advantage of border confusion. Maya and Kiriana exchanged a quick glance. Prepare a rescue mission, Maya ordered. Within hours, a mixed crew of human marines and Xelar peacekeepers boarded the patrol ship Dawnstar. Maya and Kiriana rode in the command pod. As they flew through silent space, Maya tucked a hand into Kiriana's. We face danger together, she said. Kiriana nodded. Together. They reached the freighter. Laser fire lit up the void as the Dawnstar engaged pirate ships. Maya issued orders. Kiriana used her psionic shield to protect the crew's lifeboats. In moments, the pirates were subdued. The hostages were safe. Back on the palace's diplomatic terrace, freed passengers wept as they hugged their rescuers. A young pilot wrapped his arms around Maya. Thank you, he choked. Kiriana placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. You are welcome here. As night fell, Maya and the Queen stood on a balcony overlooking two worlds' banners blowing together in the breeze. The stars above looked brighter than ever. Maya closed her eyes. She thought of Earth's blue oceans and Viridian's glowing forests. She thought of the children playing in the gardens and the scientists working side by side. She thought of the rescued hostages returning home. This is the future we dreamed of, she said. Kiriana smiled, leaning her head against Maya's shoulder. And it is only the beginning. In the days that followed, the Council of Unity passed new laws. Trade routes opened between Earth and Viridian. Artists exchanged music and paintings. Schools taught both human and Xelar history. Every act of friendship healed old wounds. 1 year later, a great celebration marked the anniversary of Maya and Kiriana's marriage. The palace terraces were filled with dancing. Human drums beat alongside Xelar crystal chimes. Fireworks painted the sky in rainbow hues. Families watched as a small parade passed below. A human family, an Xelar family, and a new hybrid family with children who laughed and pointed at the lights. Maya and Kiriana stood atop a dais, holding hands. Maya wore a gown of woven silver, threads. Kiriana's ceremonial robes glowed softly. They turned to each other and shared a quiet smile before waving to the crowd. Later, as the festivities wound down, Maya led Kiriana to the moonlit lagoon behind the palace. The water shimmered with bioluminescent plankton. They sat on smooth stones at the water's edge. You have changed my life, Maya said, and our worlds. Kiriana rested her hand on Maya's. And you have changed mine. I see new hope in every eye. They sat in companionable silence, watching stars ripple on the lagoon's surface. A gentle breeze carried the scent of night flowers. Maya closed her eyes and whispered, I love you. Kiriana's tendrils glowed brighter. I love you too. In that moment, two hearts beat as one. Two worlds found peace not through force or decree, but through trust and love. And though the galaxy was vast and challenges still lay ahead, Maya and Kiriana knew they would face them together, united in marriage, united in purpose, united in hope. As dawn approached, they rose and walked back to the palace, hand in hand. The future stretched before them like a star-studded path, and with each step they brought their peoples closer to a brighter tomorrow.